fourth wall.
Hello, what the fuck is up, y'all? Man, it's the middle of the night. You're either here with us or you're not. Don't tell
Red
anybody.
Light
With
Pro Wrestling.
the boys are up in the middle of the fucking night talking shit.
Past the middle of the night now.
It's the Dirt Sheet Radio flagship newscast. The late night edition. I guess it always is now.
Dirt Sheet Radio Dog.
Unless you're listening on demand, which you're free to do on all available podcast outlets.
Woo.
It's your boy John Escudero, and this is Dirt Sheet Radio, podcast about professional wrestling news. I'm here with my boys Greg and Nick. Introduce yourself, fellas.
What up? I'm Greg. Glad to be here.
Oh, you might remember me from the AEW Dynamite recap show. Look, I've been captured by AEW Dynamite. They won't leave my house. Someone, please send help.
Okay, well, listen. We need to talk about the big elephant in the room, the most important topic we can also possibly talk about, guys. Especially now
Porn addiction.
Especially now that we have all three of us here. It's a topic that has been weighing on me for quite some time now. Nick, Linkin Park released a new single.
Oh, jeez.
That's right. That did happen. Oh, let's go.
Isn't it an old song?
Yes, it's one of those unfinished track joints.
That's right. Yeah, I remember too. My favorite thing, and this isn't even related to that necessarily, but I just really appreciate the one that came out that was meant to be on the Halo 2 soundtrack.
I had a comment from Breezy here. He said, "Hey man, I don't like how everybody's being rude to Darby."
Who is?
If you mean on the show, then I guess Jay White is a dickhead. But if you mean in like real life, then I guess you'd be talking about the people who had an issue with him going through glass, right? I don't believe that those people actually care about Darby Allin one way or another. I don't think that they're like, oh man, I'm so sad for him that he had to do this horrible stunt.
They don't care about his well-being.
But I think that they saw people enjoying something a lot, very much, and they found the one thing that they can think of that might be wrong that they can latch onto, and they did. Oh no, this is a stunt, and you're gonna get that from grifters. They're gonna do that all the time. Don't let them take advantage of you, man. They'll work your emotions and they'll get you to respond to them, and that gets them paid. So
The art of grifting.
it's the art of it's a scam. It's a scam. They might not even feel the way that they say that they feel. They're just like politicians. They're saying what their constituents need to hear. You know?
Cody.
Yeah, I've always known there was another person behind that smile. Dwayne too.
Oh man, like somewhat,
fucking Mount
somewhat
Everest.
off
I don't
topic,
think
but like
anybody's
not
being,
really.
I don't think anybody's being mean to Darby about Mount Everest. He's just gonna climb the mountain and hopefully not die. There's some people saying he's not gonna climb. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's the weirdest thing to work.
Experienced climbers die on every year.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
If there was
He ain't dying. I believe in Darby Allin. I think if anybody's gonna live,
let's go
on fucking Mount Everest, it'll be Darby fucking Allin. He's a maniac. Greg,
that title up there.
You got your copy of WWE 2K. You pre-ordered the deluxe edition, right, or the iconic?
I pre-ordered the 40 Years of WrestleMania edition, which
iconic.
Which I was very fortunate to get at market price because my girlfriend's mother had gifted me for Christmas a $50 PSN gift card.
Woo.
So you didn't have to pay that deluxe edition price. You just dropped a regular retail.
Oh.
I paid $80, which is basically market price.
Not bad at all. I did not get my copy yet. I ordered the deluxe edition. I haven't received it. I can't do the physical fucking digital thing. It is against my nature, goddammit.
Rest in peace, physical media.
Yeah, pretty much. I can't think. I have to get all the physical media I can get before it is gone forever.
Forever.
I mean, that's pretty much where we're headed, right?
Forever.
It's a sad fucking reality that you all should not just accept, maybe not go out into that good night without a fight. I wouldn't. I'm not.
You're not
But
taking that one
I
laying
don't.
down.
I mean, what do you? It's not like I can fight it. Like I'm not gonna fight.
Sure.
Like it's capitalism. Machine is what it is. They found an easier way to do things, and it doesn't matter if they lose quality. But I think if you put up enough of a fuss in a fight, it won't. It at least won't go away forever. It won't go away
You can slow the
entirely.
machine down.
It'll at least be a collector's market. It'll at least be a niche collector's market, like comic books. Like I collect comic books, but it's not like they're selling as much as they used to. And you kind of wonder, like, are they going to die? And it's like, no, I think as long as there are people that are interested in specifically comic books, then they will always be around. So I think the same is going to go for
You
physical
just
media.
reminded me of the thing that was in my head for a little bit and faded. What we were talking about earlier with people who grift with hate. I think that is no more prominent than in that comic book universe.
Oh man. Well, I mean, unless you're talking about like J. Jonah Jameson, like actual J. Jonah Jameson. But
No, like the comic, like the YouTube comic book hate
oh,
mongers
oh,
who grift
oh
hate
God.
for clicks and money.
It's bad.
Who probably do not believe the things they are saying, but know it generates traffic.
Engagement.
Yeah,
It's so bad now, though. It's so bad because they exist in not only every fandom, they exist in like every aspect of life. What the fuck?
Yeah.
This extends to like fun shit. It extends to like harsh politics. It extends to like anything you fucking enjoy. There is a person who is taking advantage of hatred and turning it into money, and you're falling into it. They're Jim Cornettes everywhere, is what I'm trying to say. They're everywhere. Jim Cornette's, Eric Bischoff's, Jonathan Coachman's. They're everywhere. I'd say be careful.
I
with
at
them.
least
That's it.
And this is probably so typical of me to make the defense, but at least I believe that Cornette has beliefs. I don't believe these people at all. These other people at all.
I believe that Cornette has beliefs. I don't believe that he. I believe that if he actually believed these things, he simply wouldn't watch, right? So
Sure.
I don't think that he believes any of that stuff for real. And I sometimes wonder how much of the things that he claims he hates, he actually hates. I don't believe that he does. I believe he's a good worker. He's businessman. He is a carny like the rest of those old motherfuckers. And he's good at selling you on the idea that believes in this. And I think the problem, again, it always will be that ultimately that festers in the mind of stupid people, and professional wrestling fan base is just fucking 50, 60, 70% stupid people. So if you get control
Let's
of
also
them,
be clear, and I'll always come out and say it, mostly because I've been on the inside, at least in a little bit. Pro wrestling is also full of stupid people.
well, I mean, actual
Always.
wrestlers are fucking like duh. You see it every day where you wonder, like, how could he have gotten swept up in something so he's got
Obvious.
He's got to have
Remember
some
too
issues.
with like Jim Cornette, and anytime he's ever shown like Castle Cornette on like Dark Side of the Ring or any documentary or whatnot, he has everything from those early carny days of wrestling. So if anyone's gonna be rocking the carny side of it, it's gonna be Cornette.
Oh yeah.
He's a big old grifter, and it's we've talked about it before, and I guess we'll talk about it forever. But I try not to pay attention to them. Sometimes they do say something so dumb, and they say it to so many people that I just felt a responsibility to give a counterpoint. Like I have to say something intelligent back because even if they know this, at least it's out in the air. Maybe a less intelligent person will read the response and go, "Oh, I've learned a new piece of information, and I'm less stupid because of it." But getting back to, I guess, what we were
John is
originally
out to help
talking
the
about,
masses.
WWE 2K24 is out.
As a stupid wrestling fan myself, I'm glad to see that a video game is out where I can be less stupid.
I like I really enjoy the 2K games. I enjoy simulator wrestling games. I like to do spots and stupid shit, and I like that they look like they look on TV. Um,
Yes.
with
Graphics.
it is funny though with WWE moving away from the Kevin Dunn, Vince McMahon production style. I wonder what that looks like in next year's game. Because these games for so long have benefited from Kevin Dunn's rigid, very fucking specific uh production style. The simulated game has all the same angles that he uses every fucking week. It is all the same, all the everything is the same as the way it looks on television, but it's getting to a point where they're changing things, and I wonder how that will affect the 2K games going forward. But
Freedom.
that's jumping ahead of the one that's out right now. Greg, what do you think of 2K24 so far?
So far I think it's great. I think if you like the last game, you'll like this one because it's the same one but better.
I mean, that's pretty much what you can say every fucking year,
I was
right?
gonna say that's not.
You can't always say better. You
But it is
can't
better.
always say
right?
better.
And when you say better, like slightly better or worth buying a new game this year?
I'd say worth buying a new game just for some interesting match types. Worth buying a new game for a seemingly rehauled system that was a source of controversy earlier, but now may have tricked people into a live service game to their benefit.
Talking about the My Faction, you got to
Talking
give the
about my
people.
faction.
I I was weird about My Faction because they had cool things in it, but you can only play with them if you played My Faction. It's a fucking gotcha game. It's a card game. It's a gambling game where you have to gamble to get maybe some special outfits or some special arenas that you can't use anywhere else. So it's like, what the fuck is the incentive of me?
No arenas, just the outfits.
But they had like originally they had like the PC before not the PC, the CC. What is it? The content. What the fuck do they call where the NXT is now? It's like the classic Capital Wrestling some shit. I don't
Capital
fucking.
Wrestling? I don't think so.
Yeah, I could have sworn they had one of the older
that reference to their early day name.
it was like it
Capital
was like
Wrestling
some
Center?
PC shit.
Yeah, I think that's.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever had an arena that was specific, but there's a lot of like either attires or just whole lot like they have a classic like last days of Nitro Booker T that you can't play with anywhere else.
That's great. That's
And it
great.
looks really good too.
Trapped in the fucking game, trapped in My Faction, so people would mod the game, or not mod it, but hack it and take those files and put them on legit creations so that you can try to at least get them out to the people. But that's a lot of effort. So at least this year they've overhauled it to where
And some of those things end up being like quote like content damage or stuff you can't really fully unlock.
if you're gonna do this, then at least this year they fixed it so where if you play My Faction and you unlock this shit, it'll be available everywhere else. Which just seems like such an obvious thing though. Like what would be the issue here? Like why are you trying to force me to gamble with you? I hate you. I hate you for this.
Stop it. Get some help.
This is bullshit. That's that bullshit right there, man. I can't just enjoy a video game. I have to fight an addiction attempt. Like they're trying to, they're attacking me. What the fuck?
I have to grind.
All right, now, as someone outside of the loop, I have to ask: is it going to be based on, like, is it pay to win or is it play to win? And it's like playing a million hours.
It's play to win. It's play to win. It's playing.
Okay. Like there are definitely like, buy virtual currency or whatever with
that
real
sounds
money.
like pay to win.
Yes, but like, you understand, like it's.
I didn't play it long enough to notice that they gave you an option to buy currency.
Yeah, like,
hold on.
Now I'm scared.
When I say pay to win, like when you say pay to win, no, the thing about it is that there was nothing to outright buy. You can only buy opportunity.
That's even worse.
Yeah. So like, I can't say that like if you dropped $100 into it, it's not like you can get the baddest John Cena card in the game. You can buy packs. and maybe you might.
This sounds fucked up.
It reminds me of like the old like Halo 5 rec system where like you have a chance of getting some pretty good stuff, but there's a lot of pretty decent things still in these packs that you can keep buying that no one else can really get if they're doing the free route.
Yeah. No, like everyone's got the same chance of getting things from those packs as anybody else. It's just a matter of volume. Can you buy 20 packs?
I feel like there's still that degree of pay to win in there though.
It's in there.
It could be, but
It's
at
in
the same
there.
time, I also say
If
to that
he's-
I can't speak on that completely because I am the asshole who doesn't play other people online.
yeah, I mean that's fine. I
The
don't really
world's
play
much
2K
better to
online.
not do that.
2K is such a weird game to play online for me. Like I'm sure it's fun, but I don't want to play it for that. Like I'm not playing it to be competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and
We're too old for that now, guys.
there's also that, but it's not just that because I'll whip a little kid's ass. But I just want to set spots up and shit. Like I want to spend an hour trying to lay a fucking AI on a table and jump off a ladder onto him.
I like doing like whatever like crazy stuff I can do because then in competitive you got to deal with all the modders, you got to deal with all the people that used to have those turbo controllers back in the day.
But like nowadays, if like
scared for my life.
Nowadays, like if you're Kenny Omega and there's 3 guys on the outside, you can actually dive and hit all 3 of them.
Yeah,
that's cool. Awesome.
Quality.
You used to only be able to hit 1.
Right. And then you get jumped by the other 2.
So when was the last? Excuse me, it's the middle of the fucking night. When was the last time you played a wrestling game, Nick?
I mean, I played the AEW Fight Forever game. Did a pretty decent amount of that.
Nick, was the last time you played a wrestling game you enjoyed?
A good one.
I played the AEW Fight Forever game. I actually enjoyed it once I got the hang of it.
It was fun. Like it was fun for like 10 minutes.
We're being assholes.
My goated game will always be, and this goes way back, SmackDown versus Raw 2008. I love that one so much. But even since then, like there was a lot of other games I had a lot of fun with. Like 2011 comes to mind. A couple onwards. My buddies are the ones responsible for getting me to play a lot of the like 2K games, and again, it's not me being game assist by any means, but they just look and feel the same.
That's a first one.
No, they're not the same, right? They're not the same game. They're not the same kind of game. They're not the same kind. They're closer to what Fight Forever ended up being than what 2K is now. It's a whole other. Like the goal is to do what you see on TV. The goal is not to fight and win. Which is why it makes online weird for me because like it's like damn, like, they sold me this game for one reason. And I'm supposed to shift my mindset to get online with it and play it like it's fucking. It's got netcode and shit. Like it's a fucking fighting game for real. I can't. It's weird. I can play with my son and friends just for the sake of like fun. Just like, oh shit, look what we did by accident. That looks like a real match.
Yeah.
That's the thing that makes it better is when you like get to play it with friends and whatnot. Because anytime I've ever played a wrestling game anymore, it's just like I don't know. It feels like such a unnecessary grind or slog for something that I've already done in the past, you know, in different ways and different storylines. But when I get to play with friends, it's like, oh, look at all these fun new things I could do with my creator wrestler and my car.
Yeah, no, I'm not there. I am definitely a big enjoyer of these 2K games. I mean for a long time Here Comes the Pain was my favorite.
That was great.
Was my favorite wrestling game, and then like years and years of buying fucking WWE games every year. I guess you don't notice when the changes happen. You just kind of ride the wave and all of a sudden you're here. It's like a whole different kind of game. And I didn't even notice until I was older where I was like, oh shit, like that's an arcade game. This is not. This is some whole other shit.
I do want to say too, though, I do have a heavy bias. I talk about Halo nonstop, and because of that, you can obviously tell I play a lot of older games, ones that I grew up with. The most new game I've played was Baldur's Gate 3, which that itself is really just because I had a buddy who bought it for me.
Oh, that's nice.
Shout out to Austin.
I think I'm not because I'm not like I don't get to game as much as I want to, but I have interest in most games that like I still buy games now and I play them at my own time. Like that's the biggest difference. Like I can't play them as soon as I buy them sometimes. I'll have games and I'll have them for like 2 years. Like, oh, finally, I can sit down and play Yakuza.
It's time for Yakuza 2.
After 20 years, I can
And
finally
7
start.
games.
I can finally start at game 1. Well, I mean, look, shit. Look at
No, game
Pokemon.
0. Fuck you.
I play Pokemon now fairly fucking regularly. Like I've played for the last 10 years. I think I've gotten every single Pokemon release. But there was
I
the
thought you were gonna
space.
say Pokemon.
There was the space in between the last one I bought and the new one I bought that I didn't get to touch those games. I just had them I sat on them for years. Finally got to play them. And so that's how long I'll sit on shit. I'm playing DS games right now.
Speaking of which, you got me checking my Pokemon Go right now as we speak.
Go for it.
Get it? Did you get yourself a Captain Pikachu or what?
I did. I got a few of those.
You get a shiny or no?
No.
Dirty ass motherfucker.
Ah!
That Captain Pikachu is cool as shit. If you seen the show, he is also just a very cool little guy.
Is that what he is?
He is very cool. When you first meet him, he's the literal captain of the ship. He is it's great. But yeah,
I'm really looking forward to doing the My Ride stuff because I really love their like silly story modes.
Yeah.
That have their bizarre own little bit of continuity with each other.
So we said we talked about a lot of nice things, but there's some issues with this game right now that I've seen people complaining about. The biggest one,
what's the ish?
The biggest one is showcase mode. They hate
that. Feels like an uncontrollable issue.
They hate it. And I think the balance might have been lost between cutscenes and actually playing showcase mode.
In some cases, yes.
That's
I feel like that's a common issue that just so many video games, even outside of wrestling, though, deal with.
Yeah. But
like,
I guess
what do we do as a vignette? What do we do as actual gameplay? What do we do as actual cutscene?
I guess it's really noticeable this year, and I haven't played it myself, so I can't say. But I can imagine the issue they're having because you can feel that sometimes in previous showcase modes where you're like, oh, I wanted to play through that. But it's not so intense where it's like, fuck, they're taking everything from me. Damn it.
You took everything from
me. Because the whole thing about showcase mode, if you don't know, is that it is a second story mode. Like they have a story mode for you to play through a character that you create and you can just exist in like a wrestling world. And then they have a showcase mode that usually goes over like history, like something, the things that have actually happened in real life. So you play you play legendary matches and then they'll be like, do 15 punches and then fucking drop kick him in the ass and leave him laying on the ropes. You do the fucking do the objective, and then when he falls on the rope, it cuts to like Rey Mysterio in real life doing the shit. And so I can imagine that this year they might have went overboard with the fucking cutscenes. And it seems to be the case because a lot of people are just flat out saying, showcase mode bad. I was like, oh shit. It sucks for me because I was really looking forward to that celebration of 40 years of WrestleMania, especially with WrestleMania 20 in there. But again, you actually played the game, Greg. So what have you touched Showcase at all?
Yes, I'm actually only a few matches out. I am currently up to about which one is right after the Funhouse, so I want to say Owens and Austin.
Ooh.
Shit.
That after that is the 3 WrestleMania 39 matches, and then the bonus match, whatever that is.
So, do you agree with what the people are saying so far?
Case by case basis, but in some cases, yes. I will say it was a specifically very long stretch during the Rock and Austin WrestleMania 17 match, where you're just watching the match.
That's
You
fine.
know?
That sounds like
Alright.
exactly what they were. Sounds like exactly what they were complaining about.
Yeah,
All
I'm
it's missing
I'm
is just like a little title card that pops up saying "Subscribe to Peacock."
yeah, seriously. No, technically, I have 1 month free of Peacock because I got the fucking Super Edition or whatever.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
You should too, John.
I'll get that WrestleMania for free. Nah, thanks for that. I think I'm using your Peacock.
You probably are. But yeah, yeah, like there was a period there where I'm just sitting there watching, WrestleMania 17 Rock versus Austin, and this unbroken scene of the real life match has just been playing for a while now, and I was like, this is the first time it's been egregious. I'm curious what's going on here.
You're like, "Hold your controller. When do I get to play?"
Yeah, and so
Just go
that
get
part
some
is odd.
popcorn.
I don't know if it was harder to do. I remember when those things used to all be in-game gameplay, like they used to recreate the moments with the characters on the screen.
Like the
I don't know what happened, man.
vignettes.
What the fuck? What did we lose? What
Yeah.
happened to the game that I love?
So like some of that can be frustrating. I just finished before we got started the Firefly Funhouse match.
Oh, that's gonna be full of fucking. That's definitely.
It's almost all cutscene.
Yeah, it's just.
It's almost all cutscene. You're watching all the stuff that Bray Wyatt does, and when you have the occasional moments in the Firefly Funhouse where Bray and Cena have a skirmish in the ring, then there's gameplay.
That sounds depressing, Greg. I'm not gonna lie to you. Mac is here. He says only
It's
community
Mac.
creations is the only thing I care about, and my modem took a shit today. Can't get out on Friday.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, that's right. Mac will be here next week, immediately after AEW Big Business. And
Four-person podcast. Do we all get to four fingers up?
yes.
I prefer the first theme song.
If you know, you know.
Since
I like the mid-90s theme song.
Yeah.
I'll always be. That reminds me of the Pinnacle not becoming a real thing. Like that always broke.
And now you've ruined the night, John. Fantastic.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on
sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. There it is.
God,
Woo!
that was an idea. It was. It had.
it
was
legs,
inspired. Man. Yes, it did.
They fucked that up, and
Dax seems to those legs.
Dax seems to hint that MJF had a lot to do, but he never goes into detail.
Of course he does. He likes his.
I'm like, what the fuck is the point of even hinting at it then? You goddamn.
He just wants to get people talking. He likes the.
He doesn't remember that.
I just want him to know. I just want him to know that it wasn't my fault. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it.
Myself out there if Cash gets locked away.
So Mac is gonna be a big business next week, and I feel like before. So this is a good segue to just talk about AEW for a second. AEW. So we are noted AEW fans here. This podcast. Mm-hmm. We don't go crazy capping, but we do enjoy ourselves some professional wrestling.
I am on record as being like kind of a hater during year one.
Yeah, Greg hated AEW when it started. I don't even remember when you came around.
About Danielson versus Omega.
That's about the time everyone else came around 2021. Mac. I'm sorry, Mac. It was just fact.
Something happened around that time where they like it became a slightly better show. I think Cody had also lost the book around that time.
He lost the book a while before that, actually. It was. I always say that the pandemic really. It was a combination of the realization that he can't let wrestlers book the show, And
Yeah.
the pandemic being an opportunity to go lock yourself away in a room and learn how to do this. You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's sit down and do this shit, mess up and not mess up and build people and fuck other people up, and we'll really figure this thing out. So when the pandemic was over, they came out swinging. They came out swinging. That summer leading up to that whole summer was like just groundswell of momentum. It just kept growing and growing and growing. And then fucking CM Punk came, and then Brian came, and Adam Cole and Ruby Soho, and it was like a whole. It was like a whole new. It was the momentum and this new blood of new wrestlers. They weren't new blood, but new wrestlers in the fucking company, and it was a great
I
time.
am willing to argue that one of the biggest sins that that AEW probably has committed is the fact that they put themselves in such a massive position as a company, and yet their top chief booker man is basically learning on the job, trial by fire.
It's a crazy it's a thing where, like, you know, all the success comes out of nowhere. And it was partly helped by WWE being really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People desperately
2019 WWE was rough.
This is the worst, actually, and it really set AEW up. Like, they really had a lot of cushion after that. So I
It's
mean,
funny actually because I refer to this set as like year one Dynamite with 2019 WWE because they got the old long screen.
basically, it is really. I like it. I actually I think it looks cool with the tunnels. I like it a lot better than what we were doing with the digital set that they had. Just all the squares everywhere.
Squares. I remember too, John, you gave a lot of people PTSD, by the way, by bringing up something that totally happened 4 years ago.
Oh,
To this very day.
what was that? Today's March 7th.
Pandemic.
March 7th, 2020. Was
Not
that
the
really 4
pandemic.
years ago today? Fuck.
Roughly. I mean, this is where like different states started to get locked down and whatnot.
It
But
wasn't real until the NBA shut down.
yeah, that's when I was like, whoa.
Everyone looked at each other like,
sports ball is coming to an end.
it's the truth, because it's like, if the world's money-making machine stops, then you have to go, oh shit. Hold on.
This is real.
Hold on a second. They shut down the distraction. Wait a minute.
No, we need this. And then they decide, you know what, we can make adjustments. And then they cut the Andre the Giant Battle Royal because they decide, you know what, we can only have 6 people in a room at once. Maybe we should put 30 people together in a room.
No, man, just
Maybe
not to
we think this through.
Not to spend any more time talking about pandemic wrestling, because it was like a horrible non-canon time. But the company really,
I should know. I just watched the goddamn Firefly Funhouse.
fucking AEW really got their shit together during the pandemic. They came out swinging summer 2021. Around the beginning of summer 2022, things started getting sour, you know, and for a lot of reasons. And I can sit here and blame all the people that I think deserve the blame, but why would we do that again?
John, how many of them still work there?
Fuck CM Punk. What?
Every week,
What?
he somehow finds
I
his
said,
way.
how
in here.
many of
How
them
come
still
you
work
made
there,
me
John?
say that? Why would you do that? No, so things got a little rough backstage, and then there was a stumble on screen too for 2023, the next year. It's like, fuck. So lessons were learned, and behinds were whipped, and hands were slapped, and 20
Sammy consistently gets suspended.
the end of 2023, there was a realization that they're headed in the wrong direction. And so the Continental Classic happens, and we reset. And after the Continental Classic, we do a bit of a reset. We change the way we're booking the show. And they said it over and over. They was like, we're restoring the feeling, we're restoring the feeling, we're restoring the feeling. And it became like a catchphrase. And I think that led to possibly the best built pay-per-view that they've had so far.
Allegedly, QT Marshall was not a fan of the feeling.
He was not a fan of the feeling. And you know what? He had to come crawling back and accepting the feeling.
Guys, now I'm a fan of it. Can I come back?
I like the feeling too.
I was
Yeah.
feeling it the whole time. I just wanted to leave to make sure.
I lost some weight to the feeling.
So they really figured their shit out, and they said it, and we were just like watching, and I really wanted to believe them, right? Because I love the damn company, so I wanted to believe they were gonna figure this shit out. But watching it week to week, you can talk about it, but seeing it all come to a head at the pay-per-view on Sunday, it felt like you really did get back to a good place. And it wasn't like it came out of nowhere. It's not like, it was just one show. We've been talking about it for weeks. There's been improvement in the way they book the women's division. They moved away from the fucking larger than life sports entertainment shit. They got Joe as their world champion, and he's doing excellent. He's got the fucking world title feud on fire. The Sting thing was on fire. Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson, the CMLL thing. It was just rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling, and they culminated in one of the best pay-per-views that they have done. Of course,
if I may take a minute to gush, because I know we don't really run down the pay-per-views anymore here because we have a whole show for that. I wanted to point out that I do still love that we get this badass Samoa Joe as champion, even as a heel. Like, seeing the triple threat start and Joe just having no fucking patience for those two bitches and their bullshit. And just going like, nah, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
It was perfect too, because he had
I ain't
said,
here for this.
he had said it. He said out loud, like, I'm gonna fucking whip both y'all asses. Y'all are worried about each other, and I'm standing right here. And they visualized that shit off the back. It's like, bow. Excellent fucking work. I mean, personally,
about you. This is about me. I am the main character here.
I thought Sunday's show was a top 5 AEW pay-per-view, easily.
And even looking before then too, like a lot of the like Dynamite collisions are not like terrible when it comes to like wrestling quality. Even Rampage has improved drastically. And remember, the first Dynamite of the year was a solid episode, and it was like the best one up until tonight.
Yeah, seriously. So like you said, it was like it came to a head with the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view was like, we've studied for the test. Here's the test. We passed with flying colors. And then came the next fucking week to today's Dynamite, which was like, are we going to keep the momentum going? Yes or no? God damn, man. This feels like some real 2021 shit. Like, holy shit. This feels good. I felt good watching Dynamite tonight. I was like, this is great. There was nothing else I could say beyond that. Like, obviously, we talked about it for 30 minutes earlier. Max says it was the devil storyline, very higher power vibes. That was one of the things. I wouldn't lean on it as the issue as much as it was a symptom of the issue. It was like it was like the pox, but it's not the infection on the inside. You know what I mean? But getting back
like
to the
soft roster split at the time, speaking of rosters, has anyone checked out the AEW roster page yet? They got whole new pictures for everyone on there.
I didn't. Because of the new backgrounds, right?
It was picture day.
Because I had made like a TikTok reel thing, and I had done like a scroll of the roster for emphasis, and it was still the old graphics, and that was like last night. So they must have changed that shit today, right after Dynamite finished.
New poses and everything.
All right, shit. I hope the PNG render guys get on their shit then. Get those out of there. Get them up on DeviantArt. We need those.
We do.
We do. I do, especially for WWE 2K.
I don't think those things are properly sized for that.
You have to size them yourself. You never do that?
I don't know how to do that, to be completely honest.
It's hard, but I've done it for myself. If you download me, I have myself as a render for me, and I match the other wrestlers. It's hard, but it's possible. Anyway, getting back to AEW, they're on a roll. They've got that. They built up this pay-per-view, best pay-per-view in a long time. They bring in Ospreay like we knew they would. Ospreay overperforms like we knew he would. Does it again tonight, which is like, what the fuck are we doing right now? Are we trying to kill this guy? They bring in Okada, fucking flip it on its head by turning him heel immediately, putting him with the Young Bucks, having him be the new elite.
which is taking a risk for a crowd that doesn't know him.
I'm like,
it's two sides. It's two sides. It's two-sided. It's layered because there's part of it that's taking a risk, but it's not as much as risking as like putting Okada in a role that he's really comfortable with already.
Because remember too, whenever like outsiders would come into like New Japan, he would still play that same heel role.
He had been a heel for like the last year, just being a piece of shit towards younger people. But he's too cool for people to really cheer him. I mean, boo him. So it wasn't like he was like a heel.
Because remember too, when like you look at it from the perspective of people that only watch AEW, though, Okada was pretty much like the white meat baby face that came in. Like that was like one of the guys set up for Orange Cassidy's super group.
Yeah, well, for sure. But I think like I said, like it might be a risk to like storytelling wise, but I think it actually is probably the best move for him because one, like I said, you put him in a role he's comfortable with, but two, the motherfucker he's in a new country, a new promotion. He speaks English kind of. It gives him mouthpieces in the Young Bucks.
Sure.
Not only that, it reminded me of it just reminded me of the Young Bucks in New Japan, in that when they were in the Bullet Club, they would routinely throw out the leader and hook themselves to the latest thing. Throw out the old guy.
They are the worst friends imaginable.
They really are, and it was a continuation of that. Where they threw out fucking Kenny Omega, they threw Hangman out, but kind of. They were like, "You're a bad guy. You're just suspended."
Did they formally fire Kenny?
Yeah, they said,
"Yep,
you
missed 20 dates.
You missed too many dates." Even though he's got diverticulitis.
They're doing the EVP speak.
He missed too many dates. They're not sure why he's been out.
They're great.
Friendship.
They're horrible friends, and they've done it again.
They said too they're going to leave the group chat open if they want to talk.
They said we might be open to talk about it this weekend, maybe.
Maybe they're busy though.
So they threw him out. They threw Hangman out, and
they suspended Hangman.
They suspended Hangman. They didn't throw him out because he's a fucking bad guy, just like them. And they hated doing it. They didn't want to suspend him, but they had to because he beat the shit out of 2 referees. But Kenny, they straight up fired like assholes, and then they replaced him with his greatest career rival. Yeah. What the fuck? I didn't see that shit coming at all. But when I think back to the conversation me and Greg had last week, we said AEW needs a heel. Like they need a new big heel because Swerve, I thought, was going to be the guy. And he ends up being this great baby face.
Coming out the face tunnel and everything at the start of the huge show.
And Hangman doesn't appear to be available. Like, I don't know where it looks like he's off TV. They wrote him off by suspending him like that. So there had been rumors that he had a personal thing coming and that he might actually miss the pay-per-view, but he didn't. But I thought that was an interesting
I thought it was a bold move to try to get those nerds, when I speak of the AEW fan base, to like boo Okada.
I don't think they're gonna boo him. I think they're supposed to, but
of course
they're gonna be all, he's so cool, this is so good, just like me right now. Like I'm like, this is the best move for him. Like I can't even boo. I'm like, this is great.
It's that thing where it's the big heel that comes in and all of a sudden is just so respected. We're not gonna boo you.
Max says Okada Omega's gonna hit like crack at all in.
Oh man, that's one of those weird things where I'm starting to wonder, like, god damn, is Kenny Omega in this place where he's just gonna pop up out of nowhere and have the Undertaker match and leave?
I think that might be the best place for him. Because I said before, like, people were begging, like, why is Kenny in tag matches? Like, why is he in tag match? So if you can't,
because I'm dying.
I'm literally fucking killed myself for you people. But
he needs duct tape.
I think it might just be better to have him work sporadically. Like this guy Kenny Omega is not gonna give you the fucking 50% match, not even the 80% match. He's gonna try to give you the 100% match every time. If that's the case, just lower the volume. Lower the quality of matches, quantity of matches, since he's not going to lower the quality. And I don't know if it's going to be as bad as once a year.
Give me every 6 months, I can have that Kenny Omega match. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, and I think I'm okay with that because
it depends. Every subsequent Kenny Omega match extends the time of recovery.
It really does. He comes in, he has a goddamn 60-minute fucking epic, and then he goes into the heel chamber because he has to put his body back together.
To some degree, and I think there's a difference because of how young Okada was at the time, and like I don't think he had the mileage that Kenny already did. You could argue that the two of them in a 3 or 4 year span basically destroyed themselves simultaneously. I think Okada just has a better place in his life to like recover from that work he did to himself. But like the Kenny Omega build up to Kazuchika Okada and the Kazuchika Okada like God King IWGP run both basically destroyed those two guys' bodies. To the point where Okada had to basically take like a working year off.
Basically.
And we got balloons cut.
and Kenny was working, but not as much. Well, I mean, he got lucky in that he had to he took those entire 6 months between Wrestle Kingdom and Double or Nothing. But I also think that while they certainly obviously set up Omega and Okada in AEW, like that's clearly something they want down the line. That we should not expect that kind of, like we shouldn't expect the 67-minute epic. I think if you're wanting to know what Omega versus Okada is going to look like in AEW, you should go. You should go watch the G1 match that they had. 24 minutes. They played all the best
hits.
And it was arguably just as good as any of the other ones.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it was a lot less work.
That's the thing to remember too, is Tony Khan wants it to where it's not going to be like this like grand banger of match. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be a banger no matter what, because it's Okada and Omega. But he just wants to be able to say, we had Okada and Omega on our show. I mean, the thing too, like look at one of my all-time favorite matches, which by the way, we are approaching a year of. I just popped it open on Cage Match right now. On the 22nd, it'll be a year since this banger of a match. Kenny Omega versus Vikingo.
Oh,
that's
shit.
still one of my all-time favorites. And one of the best things about that match was, again, you know, it's them doing their different hits and whatnot. Vikingo getting his viral moments in there. But they were able to cover for one another in different things. Because remember, Vikingo was going into that with some injuries.
Vikingo will not be playing the hits for a while.
Oh, yeah. Vikingo's out for like a long time. He fucked his meniscus, right?
Yeah.
He has suffered. He has suffered the hubris that every high flyer has suffered before him.
It's the knees. Somewhere Rey Mysterio felt it. Like he was sitting down eating and he felt it in his knee and he just looked up like
just another one.
Who was it?
Who was it this time?
You think he felt it when fucking what's his name's ankle turned?
Yeah, you know, Dante is like a luchador. He doesn't wear a mask, but he is a luchador.
He used to.
I think. He did, right?
Yeah.
No, I think that was his brother.
No, the Martins, both of them used to wear masks back in the day.
They were like wolves or something, right?
I know there was only one Airwolf.
Oh, okay. I thought they were both wolves. But
they got from like someone completely different.
Chris Wolf. Awesome. We miss her. Anyway.
Oh, there was like another Airwolf that wrestled out in like the Chicagoland area.
Was it?
They are Midwest boys though, right?
I think so. He was the one that got hurt on the NXT taping that dressed like a Saiyan.
Oh shit! Is that guy, Mr. 450 or whatever? He wrestles in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him. He wears the purple Saiyan outfit.
Yep.
Oh, I've seen him live.
People just straight up wearing Dragon Ball Z things with no attempt to alter them is like my favorite trope now. Like it's just, he's got a scanner and the Saiyan outfit on. It's Scouter. Like what, the Scouter, that's the scanner. He's fucking he didn't do anything to it. He just put his logo on it. And I was like, you know what? Fine. I'm gonna put on a Mandalorian helmet. I'm just gonna call myself something.
Hey, as long as it's not a stormtrooper helmet with glitter on it. Haku living for that.
2024 shock
wasn't there
master.
Like a South African girl who was wearing like DBZ tights to the ring?
What's her name? She wasn't South African. She was Brazilian, right? She was
Okay.
Shayna. She got fired.
Shana.
Oh yeah,
She got fired for having a shoot fight on AEW Dark.
with a legit shoot fighter.
Yeah, fuck, I forgot
what
that
happened?
happened. Yeah,
She started shooting on Layla Hirsch,
yeah, and she got whipped. I think like
and Layla
live.
Hirsch is like, "What do you think you're doing?" And then
Mhm.
just
There are
destroyed her.
easier ways to hand in your resignation.
I hated that happened because she would wear the Dragon Ball Z outfits, and I was like, man, we need more of that on TV.
Why
So
would
they-
you?
I know too. Like a lot of the rumor at the time was that allegedly she was doing a lot of stuff backstage, like disrespecting like the jobber females and whatnot.
Oh,
I think I
you're
think
one
if
of
a
them.
I think if a guy named Mister 450 doesn't match, where he doesn't do the 450 splash, then you should be disappointed in him heavily and deeply.
I would never buy your merch, sir.
Hey, we never said it was a 450 splash. It could be 450 anything.
He's just Mr. 450 because when I was younger, you see, I broke my leg. What does that have to do with anything?
400
It's wrestling.
steps in this match.
It's wrestling.
The man of 450 holds.
We got so far away from what we were originally talking about. Holy shit.
Now that we're here,
We following the trail
So
back.
far away.
I don't know the words, but I remember the melody.
oh Jesus Christ, John!
All right, let's just end it right here. We're done.
We've peaked.
I'm so
It's been a
disappointed.
show.
No, I wanted to get back to the AEW thing.
Mm.
There was a couple weeks ago when they had announced Big Business. I thought it was gonna be a fucking big show and it was gonna be interesting and Mercedes is gonna show up. But just coming off of Revolution and coming off of this Dynamite, I am like a lot. I'm very excited. I'm even more excited for I'm really excited for Big Business now. It's not just a Monet thing. Like, whoa, it's this AEW, it's this
whole new era.
AEW attitude and Monet. Like, oh fuck, we're in for some shit.
So you might say it's the new AEW Attitude Era.
I hate to use that word I hate to use it for real, but it really does feel like it really does feel like a new era. Like it feels
It is
like
a whole new era, honestly.
it feels like it. It feels like we've entered a whole new stage for the company.
Is it the business era?
Possibly. Because like in 2021, right? When CM Punk, when Bryan Danielson, when Adam Cole came, it felt like we shifted. It felt like we shifted from one AEW to another AEW. And this feels like that again. Although in that summer, it felt like we shifted into like we were growing, like AEW is growing and it's becoming this thing. This shift feels weird. It's like it lost itself and we've shifted back on track. Like we're back where we belong. This is
Bender, just like we're back, baby.
we're back, baby. I hope they don't lose themselves again, but I think that just the way life works is that you're so in the weeds that you don't actually realize it's happening until it's happened.
Of course.
Yeah.
So
And plus, too, some certain influences that might have kickstarted a lot of those changes are no longer there.
thankfully, there's a lot of good influence. There's a lot of good coming into this company, man. It's how do you fuck this up? You bring in Ospreay, he's having these matches on AEW. This is AEW. I was watching Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher on Dynamite tonight, and I'm just like, this is Dynamite now. Like, look at these motherfuckers. Like, this is Dynamite now. Like, if you are a shitter, if you're a shitter on the AEW roster right now, like, if you were getting any kind of leeway from anyone for any reason, I don't think you have it anymore. Like, I think when a guy gets on Twitter and says, I haven't been on TV in a while, they're just gonna be like, you know what? Figure your shit out. Like, maybe it's something wrong with you.
Bro, like here's the thing too, like they were allotted not just like a 5-minute overtime, they went over like a whole 15 minutes.
Yeah, they did. I noticed that overrun tonight.
Yeah, so that's a whole like network involvement where like the network's proven that they believe in them.
I did not see the show. I saw it was just a timing thing. I saw the one clip from the Okada show up. Okada kept his theme song.
Yes. That kind of makes me think Mercedes is the one who lost hers, which is like, what?
Which is like, well, she barely had it,
I guess.
so I'm not all that attached to it. So I'm not exactly going
But all my memes,
money,
all my memes have that fucking song
money.
attached to it. I was
Do they?
so ready to post all the fucking money dancing memes next Wednesday.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She's gonna come
replace-
out to some whole new music now.
She's gonna start coming out to "Staying So Far Away."
Oh, no.
I better learn her words then.
Do you think they paid the money to commission Snoop's 16 bars?
I think if anybody's gonna have a Snoop Dogg song, it's fucking Mercedes, right?
She did once.
It is funny. It's funny when wrestlers complain about not being on TV, no self accountability. There's a level of truth to that. There really is. Sometimes it's not even just their skills. Sometimes it's just like maybe you're an asshole backstage. They don't want you on television anymore.
Maybe
That
you,
happened to
attack
LA
people when they
Knight.
have, concussions.
That happened to LA Knight. Vince didn't like him, but also I've heard from other people that he's like a bit of a dickhead. It's like they didn't do himself any favors.
Sounds like pro wrestling to me.
It's pro wrestling. It's all pro wrestlers. I try to say that I tell people all the time, like, don't hang your hat on a pro wrestler being a good person, even if you really like them. Like I get scared. like I think Hangman Page is like he seems like a nice guy, but I wouldn't hang my hat on that fact. Like I wouldn't be like, he absolutely is. He definitely is. Like, I don't fucking know that. I know that he seems like a nice person. He used to tweet good things when he had a Twitter. He was a school teacher, but I also have seen some of the most nice looking people in pro wrestling be predators. Like fucking,
absolute monsters that have been within the confines of a wrestling locker room.
Like Pat Patterson seems like a nice guy.
Hey now.
But I wouldn't hang my hat on that fact either.
We're going to some dark places here.
I'm just saying pro wrestlers are, I know. My question to you guys is how can AEW maintain this momentum? Not only how can they maintain it, what should they stay away from as to not lose it?
I think they need to stay away from the fear of hot shotting. That's an important thing.
Right, hot shotting isn't always bad. It's just
not always.
Don't know how to do it, right?
Yeah, and like there's always the potential to do so when you bring in, like a hot new talent. I think that's another thing. Maybe I know the temptation to do so is always high up there, but like maybe we reel in some of these big signings for a little bit.
Oh yeah, I did I made a whole video thing about that, and I was just like,
you?
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a video. It's like a minute long, and it looks like it was made by someone who paid for it. But it was fucking. My whole thing is just that they, in this new era, quote unquote, you've got it. You've literally built the ultimate pro wrestling roster in 2024. There's no holes, so there's no need. There's nothing that needs to be filled. Yeah. So you can just take a break. You have talent on every level. You don't even need to bring in local talent at shows to lose. You have jobber level talent. You have mid card level talent. You have upper card level talent. Like, there's no fucking reason we're bringing in local talent when Danhausen works here. Okay.
Who sells a lot of merch, by the way.
I was gonna say, do people want to see Danhausen lose?
But they probably want to see Danhausen, right? So I mean,
yeah. Which is surprising.
He hasn't been on TV
so much. He was on Ring of Honor recently. I've been catching up on that.
It's shit like that. Personally,
it
I'm not
is
a big
so
Danhausen
often
fan,
that I find a conversation that gets drawn to like so and so hasn't been on TV, and the response ends up being like, he's been on Ring of Honor.
Unfortunate. I mean,
that's when they get their reps in, man.
They had remember like Colt Cabana and Brandon Cutler have been teaming up nonstop on dark matches, and everyone's like, when are they going to feature them? It's like they've been a relatively consistent act on Ring of Honor.
That actually made me laugh so hard because there were people like look at what Ring of Honor has become. And they were talking about the Colt Cabana and Brandon Cutler match, and I was like, Colt Cabana having those kind of matches was literally a main part of Ring of Honor for like a fucking decade. Like, I'm not saying you have to like it, but I will say at least know what the fuck you're talking about when you
Tell
talking
me you
shit.
have never seen a prime Ring of Honor show.
You weren't there. Like, they were not all Bryan Danielson matches.
I
Like,
swear that's the thing. Like, people think that Colt Cabana was consistently of like the level of like a Bryan Danielson or whatnot. And it's just like,
No.
what have you guys been watching?
wait, no, he was a good wrestler. He used to do the Billy Go backwards fucking thing, and that got a big pop. But he was a comedy guy.
Yeah. Like at best, there was a period where it's just like, oh, Cabana spent like 4 or 6 months in fucking the UK. Now he's come back with all these British wrestling shit.
That was actually funny because it was just to work towards his comedy. Like, he would just work all these catch wrestling into his comedy moves. And he was
names.
I always felt he was tailor made for like WWE, for like a Santino role. Like,
To this day I still don't understand how that didn't work.
I don't know what he did wrong. Like, he had to have rubbed someone the wrong way or something.
Well, I know what he did wrong 100%. It's very easy to understand. He had a following outside of there within what they deemed as an independent role. Because you don't do that in that era of WWE.
Especially in that era.
Because that was a big thing. Because look at too, and I think this is where a lot of the people get that like misconception about him, was he came in around the same time as like a Seidel and a Danielson to WWE. And I think a lot of people were under the assumption that like, oh, okay, this is one of those guys that can go and whatnot. But then,
I mean, he can go, but not in the way that you're thinking. He's certainly an entertaining wrestler.
He's 100% a sports entertainer.
Love letter to British wrestling. Exactly. Like the catch stuff. There's comedy catch wrestling was a big part of a big part of Brit pro res as well.
Oh yeah.
Even Regal did it.
So
I'd argue Regal's done more comedy than he has serious stuff.
And he was good at it. He was fucking great at it.
Easily mesh it together, both in WCW and WWE. Those are two very prime examples of places that he went back and forth between both serious runs and comedic runs.
He could be just like beating the dog shit out of somebody in the ring, and then he pulls the old like.
No, exactly. We love like he can go in a brutal like parking lot brawl with Finlay, and then the next couple of weeks he's just talking about how like he's the one man that can stand toe to toe with the NWO.
Yeah, you'd see him get somebody into the corner, and he's just like this barrage of like open hand fucking shots, and then he walks away, and he's just doing the whole like
chest out, fisticuffs up.
I'm just remembering all those vignettes where it was like Regal trying to turn Bobby Eaton into a gentleman.
Yes.
I guess just coming back to the question about AEW and what they should avoid. If I had to say, it would be definitely stay away from. I don't want to disappoint people in saying this, but
I'll say it for you.
No, wait, because I think you might. Maybe you guys might. You might agree. You might disagree.
Okay, let's hear it.
I am tired of seeing Tony Storm, who I love, go out and have these shit wrestling matches.
Yeah,
I was really giving her leeway for a while now, and after
you're trying
Sunday,
to give her time to like calibrate the two things.
Yeah, after Sunday, I'm like, if you can't even do it with like someone you're friends with, your best friend, then I'm like, is this really something we want to have the belt on? And it's like, fuck, because I know everybody's really excited for it, and I feel like I'm raining on the parade by saying things like this, but I feel like I lost the good AEW Women's Championship match.
Which is sad too when you see too like what they did for the main event of Dynamite, where they have completely established the power of what two friends wrestling can accomplish.
I'm not saying I want Tony to stop being timeless.
I just don't want the belt on it.
Yeah, I just think maybe it's time to get the belt off of her and not onto Mercedes, by the way. I think that would be a mistake. But
especially when, and I mean this in the kind way, the Mercedes is not the most dependable long-term commitment right now.
yeah, we still don't know exactly how she's going to acclimate into this roster, especially with the more physical
Or what kind of deal she's
girls.
signing.
I think she's from what the rumor mill says.
Sure.
It is multi-year, and it is big dollars, very big dollars,
Big business, as some might say.
big business. In fact, indeed.
Sure. Does that reflect on her dates in any particular way, or?
I don't think she's getting. They said that she is going to be not only a regular feature on the weekly program, she's going to be a significant feature on the
Okay.
weekly program. They're basically giving a slot. There's going to be a championship slot and a Mercedes slot, right?
So this is gonna be like the second Ronda deal, where she actually was on there every week.
Yeah, exactly. But that ended up working real bad and not in her favor. So whoever,
Well, I listen. Well, I can't account for results. But
but
I mean,
yeah.
hey, some real unnecessary booking decisions led to the Ronda thing. In this instance, Mercedes got a lot of hype and she's got a lot of skill, talent, talking, whatever you want to say. She's got all of that and then some. The other thing to consider, though, is similar to in Okada and Omega, she's got a history of neck problems.
His neck, there's the new, there's the ankle. Who knows what happens with that? But I mean, in pro wrestling, I guess that's gonna be an issue for so many people. But like Greg was saying,
doing big business.
That's like Greg was saying when he was like, let's see how this turns out first. I thought you meant because of the body, because that's what I was going with. I was like, well, let's see how her body.
Yeah.
Let's see how her body holds up in the AEW environment. So another reason why I think putting her with Serena Deeb first is a good idea. Let's get her in it. Let's really test her out. It's not like you don't want to haze her, but you want to go out there and wrestle.
Knee smash.
You don't want to haze her. You just want to initiate her a little.
It's, a little initiation. What's that? Little jump in, just a little bit. Get up. I don't. Christopher Gonzalez says I don't love the Mercedes signing, but I get it. AEW could always use some more quality women's wrestlers.
I wonder why.
Right? It's also the fact that she didn't just come alone. She brought over like a mainstay WWE women's wrestling writer. So she came prepared just in case. Like if nobody knows how to handle me, this lady does.
Like this just sounds so much like Rock bringing in Gewurz.
It pretty much is, because he's just like, this new wrestling, I don't know how this works. I'm bringing in somebody from the 2000s. Right. I need someone who knows this attitude.
He understands me.
My attitude. I actually was worried. I was worried when they signed this lady, because I was like, she's an Emmy award-winning writer, which is great. That's a great thing. And she's also going to be a creative driver for the women's division and other things too, which is great. You could always use another creative driver, especially when, the complaint is that like, oh no, Tony Khan doesn't give out as much responsibilities as he should. So it's great to hear that they're bringing on someone specifically for creative. But her experience was soap operas. She's got Emmy for soap operas, and it's all soap opera stuff. And then after that, it's 7 years of WWE. So
soap opera.
Yeah, another soap opera. So I was worried that she was gonna bring the company back in the direction they're trying to get away from, like by accident. But she's already started on the job, right? She started last week. And not that you would ever be able to see a difference in just 2 weeks, but I also haven't seen any sign that we are shifting in a bad direction yet. So here's the hoping. And it's a new cycle, right? Since like she came in at the end of the last pay-per-view cycle, so she's not gonna do that much. But it's a new cycle now, so I imagine she had some input, and it wasn't bad. Whatever it was, I didn't hate anything I saw tonight. If she is working, then we're doing good so far.
Okay.
Hello, Mark. Hello, fellow Mark.
Hello.
How you doing?
Another one.
Christopher's worried she's going to be CM Punk-ish. I hope I'm wrong. Well, I don't know that.
I don't know if she'd have enough clout to be.
There's that, but I also don't know that she has the same trauma. Like,
Sure.
CM Punk had deep-rooted trauma. Okay, 10-year-old trauma. Like the second something felt like it was off, he's like, they're against me. It's again, and that part of that comes from being in a place where that actually was the case. I don't know that Mercedes has gone through that kind of strife.
That same
I
famous
don't know.
that same famous paranoia led to the Austin ousting for some time.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not like it's exclusive to CM Punk, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
I want to note that like it's a pro wrestling thing.
for sure. It
Remember
comes from
too,
having
like,
to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Remember too, CM Punk was someone that Tony Khan idolized for decades.
Yeah.
As well. So there's a whole like difference at there where Mercedes, as great as she is not someone that Tony Khan has spent decades trying to be like, wow, that's like that's my goat right there.
He's also learned. I feel like he learned his lesson. Like there's a big lesson to be learned from that CM Punk thing. I don't think anyone is going to be in the position CM Punk was in ever again. I think they paid Mercedes a lot. I think she did help out by bringing in a creative person, but I joke when I say that she brought in the writer like specifically for her, right? Like I'm just joking. Like the announcement was that this is not just a writer for Mercedes or even the women's division. This is a vice president of content creation for the company now. So it's like, so she brought in someone to help out as a whole, which I think is is yet another piece of proof that it's not going to be that kind of situation. I think she's here to be part of the team, and I think she's going to be a great part of the team. I do think they're going to give her a lot, and I think the people are going to confuse that with her. Like, she's just demanding it. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that they need to give her a lot because this women's division doesn't have that kind of star yet.
Right.
Like it doesn't. It had Britt Baker for a while, but other than her, and I mean, people love to. Britt, she was injured, right? That's all we knew, and because it's AEW, they don't
disclose.
They don't always disclose, not unless the wrestler wants to. No,
of course.
Which is fine. Yeah, I actually appreciate that. I think that's cool. It does make things really scary though. Sometimes, like, where is they? Are they fired? Did they do something wrong? I just want to know.
Where is my friend?
Nick, you brought in the dog and ruined your whole thing. What happened?
I decided, hey, I wanted to show my dog some affection, and the next thing I know, everything crashed.
That was always a mistake.
It's what you get for loving.
I'm sorry. I'll never do it again.
No, how dare you? I believe I can see where that idea comes from, especially since she's such a big star. There's this idea that she might come in thinking like she's bigger than everybody else in the company, and I hope that's not the case. She seemed to play very well with the girls in Stardom. They actually loved her a lot, and they hang out. Like
they still talk about bringing her back.
And I'm pretty sure she's going to go back. Like I think they love her, and she loves them.
Yeah.
So, and I also think there's the perception around Mercedes that she's like this evil person that hates like fans and shit. But let me tell you, okay, I know where that rumor started. Like, I remember the first group of people to say that Mercedes mistreated them as fans. All right. It was a group of airport hotel stalkers in Brooklyn.
You knew them intimately.
I don't know them. I know, like, when you're in New York, right, and you frequent wrestling shows, even if you're not in the group,
it's a small circle.
It's a small circle, so you know people. Actually, one of the girls that I used to see a lot passed away too. I was like, oh shit,
really?
Yeah, she used to go to all these shows, and I used to see her at the fucking they used to do the watch events like Legends and all that shit.
I think I know somebody who might have spoke about her.
Yeah, I think she passed away this weekend or something.
Yeah, one of the guys I know who used to frequent this area, he became a photographer for wrestling now. I think he talked about this woman who used to see at a lot of these fan events.
Who's that, Roger?
Yes.
I fucking love Roger.
Yes.
He said it like I don't know Roger.
I forget. I haven't seen Roger in our circle in so long that I kind of forgot.
I laugh because I knew Roger before I knew George.
Really?
I had Roger on Facebook because of the New York wrestling thing.
Okay.
And then I met George. And then I go to George's house and Roger opens the door. And I said, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I was like, where the fuck did I go?
What is happening?
Right place. Did I message the right person?
Are y'all like... No, but they were just roommates. They're not. No, but they're very cool. New York City.
I think I saw Roger. Sorry, yeah, I think I saw Roger eulogizing some young woman, and I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was her. She was a big part of the New York City wrestling community, and she passed away. It's just a damn shame. But well, all that to say that.
But yeah, it's a really small scene.
I know the group of people that started the Sasha Banks rumor. It was fucking. Dude, it was these assholes that stalk you at a hotel. They had her at the fucking hotel in Brooklyn. They're right outside the fucking door. She's coming out.
To your point, if you come out of a show at the end of Barclays, if you come out of a Barclays Center show at the end of it, there's a whole area where these people convene, and you can find a lot of the same motherfuckers every single time.
It's those people. Exactly. If you go to a Barclays show now, they might still be there. I don't know if they still operate that way. It's been years. But they, that's fine. Say standing outside of the show after it's done and waiting for the wrestler to come out and hoping to catch a glimpse of them and maybe get a handshake as they drive away.
Sure.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when you fucking chase them down to the place that they have to lay their head at night and they walk out early in the fucking afternoon. I just woke up 15 minutes ago. I got sleep in my eye that I might have missed. And these motherfuckers are in front of the door trying to take pictures of me and trying to force me to sign shit. I just want some coffee. Like, get the fuck out of my way.
I like to say a lot of things about myself. I do not think I can say that I would be that cordial and kind before breakfast, and I would get my job in trouble.
I can't
imagine. Y'all motherfuckers get away from me.
I need food and caffeine into my system first if you want me to be nice in the morning.
I would end up having a bad rep too. They'd be talking about me like they talk about Mercedes. Like, he's a fucking asshole. Yeah, I'm a fucking asshole. I hadn't smoked a single fucking blunt, and you motherfuckers are over here forcing me to take pictures. I'm just trying to buy a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. And there's can you sign this? Can you sign this? Can you sign this? Bro, I'm not at work.
6:15 in the morning. Yeah, I'm an asshole.
I'm off. I'm off the clock. You understand? Like I've left the Target. I am in the parking lot. You do not get to ask me where's aisle 5. Go find the shit. Get the fuck away from me. I am not at work. So those are the people that started the rumor about Mercedes. And ever since then, there's been the rumor that that's just how she is.
Yeah.
Because remember too, that also was exacerbated by those people that said that like, oh, she didn't want to like take a picture with me, but it's those same guys who, the big sweaty guys who want to put their arms completely around all the female wrestlers.
Oh, that's not cool.
And just completely violate their personal
touch space. Me. I am only a TV character. I'm very scared of you.
Yeah, seriously.
And you're like, I'm not scary. Like you fucking are.
Like it is a disturbing amount of people who go to those meet and greets just to have that physical embrace with the female talent, and I was just like, dude,
it got weird before COVID. Like right before COVID hit, it got really weird. They were trying to take like the prom pictures, and I'm just like,
my god. Not the hip photo.
Like don't put your hip. I personally couldn't get that close to another lady without like
express written consent.
First of all, consent, and second, if she does consent, now I'm like, oh no, I've poked you. I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Oh no.
Hip to hip is crazy, bro. Like this is a meet and
greet. Not just say that.
No.
Hip to hip. It's nuts. I can't I would never put myself in that uncomfortable situation. Like, can I take a prom photo? Like, hey, see, I need space. I'm scared she's gonna smell me and it might not smell right. Like I put 16 different deodorants on and I'm still scared.
Well, that was the thing, John. 8 of them canceled the other 8 out.
Anyway, these guys, they fucking actively stink and shit too. It's fucked up.
They're the ones that caused all those like viral posts. Remember, where everyone's just like, "Please, fellow wrestling fans, if you're going to attend this event, make sure you shower beforehand."
Oh no, were they?
I never got the idea of expecting someone to. She has to be this way to me. Doesn't matter where we are. She needs to. These
Of
people, they
course.
feel entitled. She's a celebrity. She needs to know this comes with the territory. Fuck you, dude.
Those
You're
people that
fucking-
invade like John Cena's personal space with all
Like,
those
actually-
videos, and like they're trying to have this like got him moment.
He's such a nice guy, though. He just walks over and he's like, "I'm eating."
Yeah.
Maybe
Can't see
after
him.
dinner. Anyway, she's gonna be a great addition to the company, but it's another one of the moments. It's another. Oh goodness, Greg, Greg gave us a hurricane. It's the company's already at such a good place. It's just like holy shit, like how they still haven't even finished. They haven't even finished building the structure, and it looks so nice. Like I'm very excited, man. I am. This next pay-per-view, this episode of Dynamite ending with a face-off between Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay.
I knew you would be super hype about that.
Yeah, I can't
Caesar
even.
pointing out the pay-per-view right in between.
I got so because the match was so fucking great, right? And it was like this was the perfect ending. Like this is what made it feel like 2021. Like this was like the in 2021 AEW, you kind of as a fan you watched it and you would be like, this would be the coolest thing if this happens. And then an hour later, it just would. It just would. Like it would end the show, and you'd just be like, Brian just got here, but he's gonna fight Kenny Omega. Like, what is happening? Like, he got here yesterday, and he walks out to confront him. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's the kind of feeling I got when this incredible match ends, and fucking Bryan Danielson walks out.
Right.
Not just walks out, he comes out there looking like a pit bull who just smelled a new creature in his yard. Like, what is that? What's that? Was there wrestling out here? Seems pretty good. Huh? Like, one of you guys think you can go with me? Like, is it you? I love it, man. That was so fucking great. And then, like Nick said, they framed it so that it ends with the pay-per-view ad
in the background.
Like,
Yeah.
I was so just like driven and just taken aback by like, wow, like after that crazy match, now we have this moment like, oh, I am so ready for this. And then we get to the recap and Caesar said that. I'm like, I didn't even notice that. You're right.
get the Emmy. Get the Emmy ready. Just get it over to Tony Khan and his people.
Perfect. Plot twist. That was from the new writer.
I would actually die. I would love that if that's the case.
It's those little things like that I absolutely appreciate.
I think we need more intentional shots like that in wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot more.
Yes and no.
I mean, I don't want them all to be that, but I kind of like that too.
So like when you say that, I'm reminded of just like, oh man. And granted, I totally know that this one was technically like a beautiful shot that happened by mistake. I remember we had the shot. I was thinking about this the other week. I remember we had the shot where like, who was it? Was it Roman? Where Roman appeared perfectly in LA Knight's shades.
Oh yeah.
And then you notice they purposely started filming that frame for like the next 3 weeks.
It never hits the same. It never hits the same. That was just such a perfect moment, and it wasn't gonna happen, and that's why it's a meme, and that's why the rest of them aren't.
It just reminds me too of like consistently, like back when I used to watch New Japan consistently. Any of those opportunities where like Will Ospreay used to do something really crazy, and you just have him like just looking like all like a Chad in the background while everyone else is just like,
whoa, yeah.
New Japan camel work is much more sophisticated.
It is, even if they're creative no longer.
Those little moments that really add to the drama.
Did you see they fucking put Jack Perry in the House of Torture this morning?
I did.
Yep,
What the fuck? I mean, it's just one of those things where I ask myself, like, what exactly is this? But at the same time, it's like they're not all. It's not always for me. It's a Japanese wrestling company. They have Japanese fans. Those
Yeah.
Japanese fans want something. They should get it, and they should be the priority. It shouldn't be for me. Like you lose yourself when you start focusing on the other thing. When you start trying to like book for Western people only, like it's a Japanese show, you should do that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was shocked and taken aback when I had heard that uh the Bullet Club is actually still a massive sell in Japan, and that's why they keep proliferating it.
and the House of Torture is fairly popular in Japan, which is like, oh fuck, okay. Well then, look, that's a good thing for them because you get Jack
Yeah.
Perry in there, and then it gives new eyes to the House of Torture thing. Which I mean, geek and nerd, fucking wrestling fans like you and me, we we uh we know House of Torture and we have our own feelings about it, you know. But
Hmm.
I can also accept that the I can accept that it isn't for me. I think
I'm
we
not.
lost. I think we lost Nick. By the way,
Uh,
I think we lost Nick for good.
I'm not. I'm not an inhuman hard ass. Like I used to talk about how I accepted Ryback, and Ryback was an awful freaking wrestler, but I recognized that there was money there.
He sucked, but he was so intense, and it felt like, oh man, this is cool. And then,
Yeah.
and then they exposed him, and everything sucked. But
Hmm.
yeah, I
He was so
understand.
over, it was ridiculous.
I understand the Jack Perry thing. It's there. I'm not gonna fight it. I do think it's crazy that he's cutting promos like, I tried to leave and they wouldn't let me. I was like, oh shit.
I don't think that's how that works, homie.
Tell he implied that he asked for his release. He said he took a
Sure.
month off for himself and then they wouldn't let him back. But then they wouldn't let him go. So, I mean, it could either be a really good promo, but it sounded like it had some
Some
truth
truth
in
to it.
a little bit. I was like, oh goodness.
I don't know. Could you see this being a situation where Jack Perry did actually try to leave?
I
Oh no.
could see this be. I want this to be a situation where they still see the value in Jack Perry, so they sent him there.
Mm.
I could, however, see it as a situation where he said, "If you're not gonna let me go, then please let me go to New Japan." And they just said yes, and now New Japan is doing whatever they want independently, and that could also be a thing. I would hate for that to be a thing. I don't believe Jack Perry should lose his job for what happened. It wasn't severe enough for somebody to lose their fucking
No.
job. Not on his end,
No.
anyway. Um,
I certainly thought he should be punished, but I don't know if it was.
yeah, I
I wouldn't have
think
said lose your job.
I think a suspension makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially if a physical fight breaks out because of your actions, then suspension makes perfect sense. But I would really be bothered if they just decided like he has no value to the company anymore, and like we're just gonna let his shit run out. Because like get the fuck out of here. You know how much trouble we went through? You know how much goddamn TV time went into Jack Perry for you to throw it away on a whim? Man, if you don't get the fuck out of here. That's why I think I hope that this is a coordinated effort to give him an edge. It's because to give him an anti AEW edge, like, oh man,
Okay.
fuck this company. And like eventually when he does come back and he decides to be like, because it's gonna have to be as a heel no matter what. And if
Yes.
he comes back hot, then even all better for it. I actually thought I thought the Young Bucks might bring him in because of
Interesting.
I thought they might go the we're pushing him anyway, like because they're leaning into the EVP thing. So if they were like
Yeah.
the crowd, they can put him over as like this thing, and the crowd is booing, but they're heels, so they don't hear that shit. They're just like he's the greatest. I kind of thought they would do that. It's like carry this. We're gonna carry the nepo baby with us.
Nah.
Uh, but No, this Okada thing's so much better than that. I never saw that shit coming. But yeah, that's that Jack Perry thing is something to keep your eye on. I will certainly be checking that out. The goat mask scapegoat. I don't know how I feel about that, but you know what? It's in New Japan, and that's that happens. That's the kind of thing you'll see there a lot, especially for entrances. So fuck it.
I am the scapegoat.
We got a couple more things to talk about. Did you see that they suspended Sammy Guevara?
I did hear this, and yet I am unclear of how to feel because I'm unclear of what even happened.
I put it on the report because I didn't think it had enough context. But the from what I can gather,
Yes.
Jeff Hardy got the concussion when we all saw he did with the shooting
Contusted
star
it.
press. He did catch a concussion. And then from the video I saw, it looks like they said, "Let's go home." And Sammy took that as let's hit the finisher and go home. and so that's the part that got him in trouble. That he hit the
That
finisher.
they went to the extra move.
Yeah, instead of doing the roll up.
But I mean, does he know?
So I think he did know that something was wrong because they told him to go home. And he just made a mistake. And because you hear go home and like, I'm gonna hit my finish. And so he hits finish. But the protocol is apparently, I don't fucking work there, but the protocol is if somebody has a concussion, you cannot do you just cannot do anything physical. Like you just you have to stop. And I guess the most you could do is like just roll him schoolboy. You know,
that makes sense.
So I just think a suspension is harsh for a couple of reasons. One, you promoted the match anyway, aired it on TV anyway. Where the fuck do you get off now telling the guy he's in trouble after you made money off him?
Right.
That's my thought on that. Not only that, he had a match.
Give it back.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Then he has a match the next night with fucking Powerhouse Hobbs. They had a no DQ match on Collision. They killed that shit.
Okay.
Hobbs finishes him with a world's strongest slam off the top rope through a table. And I think that was meant to write him off of television. And they actually really they went crazy. Hobbs went crazy out there with Sammy. I was really happy. I was like, man, I hope they do something else. Oh fuck. Fucking hell. So Sammy gets suspended, and I personally, where I not usually the guy to be like, oh Sammy, this time I'm like, come on, like that's some bullshit. I think I'm on Sammy Guevara's side where I'm just like, this is some fucking garbage you guys just pulled here. I hate to see it. I hate the state of the four pillars of AEW right now. Have you seen MJF dead and gone, Jack Perry dead and gone, Sammy Guevara dead and gone, Darby Allin he's striving. Actually, he's thriving. He's actually doing quite well. He's the last one to get here too. He wasn't even meant to be in that position.
How did you get here?
For the record, we did lose Nick for good.
Yeah, we did.
He lost his internet for the night, but
internet lost him.
That's where I was with the Sammy Guevara thing. I thought we should talk about that because I thought that was so weird. Like, what the fuck? This is such garbage. What you guys are doing to this man, this new father. He doesn't need the stress in his life. Did you see the Okada merchandise that AEW dropped? Right now, like right after the show finished? There's a black shirt that's okay, but this white one, so good. I love this.
Okay, so I have a problem with the black shirt.
Did you see? I'll pull it up. I actually don't like. I think it's okay. I don't think it's as good as the white one. I'll pull it up now. There it is. Boom. Okada, Rainmaker, Kazuchika, Rainmaker.
Yeah. Do you know what my problem with this shirt is?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, my thing is like I don't like the design.
Yeah. I was asking if you noticed any. I want to see if you noticed anything.
Well, no, I mean Rainmaker twice is weird. But other than that, I just don't like the design myself.
My problem with that shirt is it's a fucking reprint of an older New Japan Okada shirt that I
Is it?
own.
Oh
Yes.
shit! Where is it? Where is it, Greg? I gotta see this thing.
I'm trying to find a picture of it because PWT took down the older ones.
Damn, that's great though. That's great. I didn't think, but I thought this was unique. I thought this was
The white one's good.
It's
I
got a
like the
good.
white one.
I also like
I
his
like the money
logo.
falling.
I like
Yes,
his
I
new
like that
logo.
too.
The R with the dollar signs.
Yes.
Unique. Good on whoever decided that Okada doesn't have a logo because he doesn't. It's weird. That's so weird.
No, like yeah, I guess not, right? He had the Rainmaker. Well, he kind of did.
Did
It wasn't as pronounced.
Okay, I never saw that. I've never seen this.
This is the shirt. Like, okay, put up the old shirt again. I put it in. Okay, you see that one?
Oh, no,
The
wrong shirt.
the black one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit! And the New Japan one is better. It's the Okada. It's the Kazuchika. The Okada's too big in the
Is that
middle.
what gets you?
It's dumb. I don't think I like it. It breaks the image in a weird way.
Okay.
I'm going into the nuance of a fucking t-shirt, but
Yeah, they just recreated a New Japan shirt with the new logo and a bigger Okada.
So just the final two things we're going to talk about tonight. One is the road to WrestleMania, which is starting to become a little more clear with they're setting up the Intercontinental Championship match.
Well, hold on. You know what? Can I cut you off a little bit?
Yeah, you might as well.
Before we even get into the road to the WrestleMania, I want to talk about the two things that they will be setting up the next few weeks on the way that I think it's fun to talk about. John, can we talk about the Hall of Fame?
Oh shit, that's right. They're going to induct Paul Heyman and Bull Nakano. That's actually a wild ass first to bring up.
Bull Nakano, who only did a few spots for the WWF, is the first primarily Japanese Joshi wrestling. What did he say?
He said that the reason they got rid of the PWT's Okada merger so they could just
just recreate all of it.
But worse.
Yes. Oh, the moment I saw it, I'm like, "Fuck you! I own that shirt, you pieces of shit." You make me buy it again. You're not the CM Punk fucking Money in the Bank shirt. John mad.
I don't like to think about it.
But yeah, so one thing came out of the Heyman thing that was funny for me. I've had two people on separate occasions ask me the question of what is Paul Heyman going to talk about if he can't talk about Vince or Brock? And I'm just like, it's not like he didn't run his own company in that city for like 8 years.
What friends are these that never heard of ECW? Greg, are you hanging out with high school children, Greg? Do you have something you want to tell us?
No.
Disclaimer: Greg does not hang out with high school children.
I do not know. In fact, they are incredibly annoying. And ruined my commute from work
every day.
My one friend I know for a fact didn't start watching. I think till around. I think he started watching around
yesterday.
Sting versus NWO era as a kid.
Damn, that's old enough to know WCW though. I mean ECW.
He knows of it, but like, it's not something he ever watched. This is not too different from you, but when you started watching, it was dead.
I watched. Yeah, I found that's even where I feel like if I found out then when it was dead. But I guess I also came around like they were doing a heavy push to try to revive the brand when I was watching. They had the rise
you
and
came out when
fall
the
of
fucking
ECW.
DVD decided to be a success, and it was just like
Top
shit because they
notch.
have money to be made.
How good is that documentary that it was about a subject that I knew nothing about? Like what? And
Yeah.
it hooked me all the way the fuck. Like I needed to know more about this ECW. Like that's rise and fall of ECW is like top fucking notch. Anybody can
yeah.
watch that.
And one of the if you actually clock it, one of the longer documentaries.
It is about 3 hours, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Brett and Sean one, the Brett and Sean greatest hits is the only one that comes close, and it's because it has matches spliced in.
Yeah. Matches
But,
in between Sean's blocky history about his own life.
If that's what you say I did, then I guess that was me. I don't recall.
I probably did it. I was that kind of guy.
No, I guess the other question some people are asking, kind of related to that, is who's gonna induct him? Oh, maybe Paul will talk about mass transit. Yikes!
Oh no!
Yikes! If you know, you know. Oh, good. My camera finally died.
I'm the last one left.
Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. I am an American Dragon now.
Jake, what was his name?
Jake Hager?
The American Dragon.
The jet plane? the American Dragon, Jake Long. American Dragon. Don't. I loved that show actually, and hilariously, it started off so strong, and then in the second season, and I never looked up why, and I'm sure they've got like a really good YouTube about it somewhere. They shifted the art style drastically. It was crazy to me. It was so ugly. It was so much uglier now. I even as a kid, I was like, "What the fuck?"
I did not know that.
God, if you look at the difference between season 1 and season 2, Jake Long, he was a big buff dragon in the first season, and in the second one, all of a sudden he was like a more traditional, like a long, stringy,
slender.
like a slender parade on a stick dragon. I was like, fuck. Anyway,
never forget what they took from us.
I never will. I never will. Anyway, the question was, what would?
And now Josh gone. I know he'll be back quite soon. How you doing, everybody? Yeah. Oh boy, that's funny as heck. There we go.
I hit the thing and I lost everything.
You did in fact hit the thing, yes.
Anyway, what was I saying? Ah, yes, the
inducting Heyman.
Inducting Heyman. They were asking like who's gonna induct Paul Heyman, and I thought who else but the ECW wrestlers?
Sure.
they're in fucking Philly. They are not.
Who do you still trust to induct him at this point?
Well, they're not talking to Brock. They're in Philly.
Yeah.
They've got Punk there if that's what they want to do. But
you could do that, right? That is his homie that is still there, and one of his more successful runs.
They have a lot of ECW talent under Legends contracts, though. So,
yeah,
probably better off just using the guys you pay right now.
Yeah, I think if we were talking about like, who's a main event guy we can bring in to talk about Heyman? Like maybe Rob.
You got RVD, but they're not talking to him because he works with AEW now.
I guess they're still paying him for the video game.
Yeah, they had him on their Legends contract and they booked him for WrestleMania weekend. And then remember he came out and said they unbooked him after he appeared on Dynamite.
Passed my mind then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was sucked. Maybe the ECW Zombie will induct Heyman. The ECW Zombie comes out and Paul Heyman's gonna do his best Tommy Dreamer at WrestleMania 17 impression.
I was gonna say every time they bring up the Tommy Dreamer story, every time you think of Tommy Dreamer, everyone brings up that story now. So I'm just like, God damn it, stop it.
I love that story comes up because that is so outrageous, and it's one of those things that should not be buried. Right? That is a beautiful piece of wrestling lore. Paul Heyman screwed over the ECW wrestlers so bad that one of the most beloved and known wrestlers in ECW history was willing to kill him.
Of the company.
Mr. ECW himself was willing to kill Paul Heyman. That's how bad he was.
No, not just willing to kill Paul Heyman.
I can't say the other part, but he was not just going to kill Heyman. He was also going to take care of himself on live television. That's how bad. I was trying to add in. Yeah, that's how bad it was. So there was a lot of people saying Tommy Dreamer should finish the story.
Oh no!
At the Hall of Fame. That's so dirty. That is so dirty. I love the humor. Anyway,
yeah, I think the easiest answers there are probably like CM Punk, Tommy Dreamer. Other than that, I don't know. Or maybe the Dudleys, right? I don't know. He launched their careers.
The Dudleys, they've got Sandman under Legends contract now.
No,
they don't.
I mean, I'm just saying no.
Oh, does he still drink?
Probably. And like, do you want that? Do you want to get that man alive, Mike? Do you?
Well, you're right. It's the Hall of Fame. You figure they will just get a group of dudes up there and they'll all talk their shit.
Do we call Raven?
Yeah, they should. I don't know if he's on good terms though.
I don't either.
Anyway, so they also got Bull Nakano, which I thought was funny because I think back to Triple H and that clip of that one girl. I don't even like this girl. She once, when Dershi Radio first got on Twitter, she like attacked us and it was unprovoked and I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is a hostile place. I don't think I like this Twitter. Like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, she brought up something and Triple H talked about how he had never heard of the word Joshi until 2 weeks ago, and it was a very dismissive tone. Like, if it was something that was created by nerds, like, how dare they? Like, and so I just think I love watching this because I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. Fuck. Fuck you. That's where I am with that. It'll be a great moment though, and I wonder who they get to induct her. Knowing WWE, it'll just be Medusa.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I mean, that is a legit connection, though, isn't there?
Yeah. But that's the only. That's probably the only direction WWE has right now, because it's somebody WWE fans know, and it also has that, that connection.
I was gonna say, like, it's one thing when it's just somebody WWE fans that know, but I'm just like, they were rivals, so I will allow it.
I will allow it.
Like there's something tangible there because they were rivals, so like I find it acceptable.
I will allow it.
Yes.
I wonder who else they put in this year. The Dudleys are in already, right? They're already Hall of Famers.
Yes, they are.
Is Tommy in? They should put Tommy Dreamer in.
He is not in.
He is also he's a tenured WWE wrestler. There's no reason why it would.
Who's not going in?
Certainly not Brock Lesnar. No,
I was thinking most of the ECW.
Okay, most of them. Most of, you know who's not going in? 50% of them.
You know who's not inducting Paul Heyman? Shane Douglas.
Oh God, I would love nothing more than for Shane Douglas to end up with a live mic at a
No, see, here's
WWE
my thing.
event.
Here's my thing. If you told me, right, that they should have said that either the induction of Heyman or his own induction, I am less interested in Shane Douglas at the Hall of Fame as much as I'm interested in that phone call.
So you come
Hey,
crawling back.
Shane, how you doing? It's Sean.
You son of a bitch.
Hey, look, it's been 20 years. Things behind us.
I never forgot. He goes into straight Shane Douglas promo mode. I never forgot. You son of a bitch. You dirty motherfucker. As God is my witness.
I will say this because I just now remembered it, and it's become something they've started to do when it's just like we like we're gonna put these people in because we can, but we don't want to associate with them. They have that like Hall of Fame version where they just don't talk to those people, and they're just like, yeah, they're in. Those guys are in.
Oh, they
That
have the
guy's in.
fake Hall of Fame part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what do they call it? Not the Warrior Award. It's
No, not
something.
the Warrior Award, because the Warrior Award still has a speech involved.
And that's for like, there's a reason for that one. It's
it's usually something with like outstanding community or like real life shit.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
But they recently added was it like a legacy wing?
There it is. It's the legacy wing. There you
Yes.
go. And it's just like a group of people that don't get to give a speech, or maybe
we
didn't
don't
work for
talk
the
to them.
company.
They ain't here. So it's like if you and you could totally see it, right? If there was for this year like an ECW legacy wing, it's like yeah, let's throw Shane's picture in there. Who fucking gives a shit?
I actually think it's pretty funny that in this Hall of Fame where it's not voted, like it's not like there's a vote going on. It's not like there's any legitimate process, that you can still somehow end up in a secondary one. like how the fuck did I get here? Was I not good enough? Like, no, he just.
Why is there a loser wing for this thing that doesn't really have any winners?
He didn't like you. What do you mean? I didn't know the Hall of Fame worked that way. Now that Vince is gone, I think they should put the Hall of Fame up to a committee. I think they should do a vote. They have enough old wrestlers in the company, and they also have like, I mean, I was gonna say business people, but I mean, you probably want it to be peers and like a cauliflower club thing.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool. I don't know who Triple H is cool with, old people wise, but I know he has like a big love of wrestling history, so it shouldn't be too hard for him to bring something
those
up.
People.
Yeah, I mean, what's a Legends contract and a nice little deal, a little toy deal. You show up in some action figures, some video games, you get to vote on the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That should be who they get to vote, actually. Any wrestler on a WWE Legends contract. The stories of wrestlers saying no and the reasons why would give me years and years of interview fodder.
Yeah.
So I voted no for Kevin Nash in the Hall of Fame. And I was the one guy who kept him out for years. I want to know why. I want to know those stories. This is a great idea, actually, and I'm so sad Triple H isn't watching right now. It's too early in the morning, I guess. Anyway, Jesus says Mason Ryan should go into the Hall of Fame.
Oh my God.
The legacy wing, of course. We're putting the rest of the shitters. No.
But you did want I sidetracked you with the Hall of Fame. You want to talk about the clarity of the road to WrestleMania, John?
Yeah. I mean, what else is there to really say? I just wanted to make sure to talk about The Rock and Cody Rhodes because it's the big WWE thing. I didn't want to leave WWE fans out, and I am watching the show as well. Although, like I
Okay.
said, not the weekly one, not live. Like I'll keep, I still watch it the way I always watch it, but I'm more interested in it now. Like I watched The Rock's 21-minute promo last week.
Okay.
Did you catch any of
No.
that? Understandable.
I caught a few of the Vox bits and then the acknowledge me stuff where like
Oh no, well that was different. That wasn't as long. Although it is hilarious because what he did was he cut a 21-minute promo into a cell phone in the
oh that
afternoon,
one. I've
right?
only seen the fuck your story.
So he does that specifically because he felt that they weren't going to be able to explain all the plot and the time they had on SmackDown.
Okay.
SmackDown starts and the motherfucker still goes 20 minutes, 10 minutes over. They end up fucking Naomi out of a match, and she gets pinned by Tiffany in 3 minutes with no entrance for her. Immediately after coming back from being a world champion in TNA. So the entire fucking fan base is like, what the fuck just happened to Naomi?
Oh,
why?
Man. Came back and it got PM'd.
Immediately, and it was because The Rock couldn't stop talking. The fucking So I thought it was funny that he cut a 21-minute promo on Instagram and still ends up fucking talking too much on TV. Like, goddamn, how much can one person talk? How much can one person love the sound of their voice? As we go on the second hour of our podcast.
That's out, baby.
Anyway, Jesus wants to know if we talked about Jack Perry. Yeah, we did. We gave him a good old 10-15 minutes. It's actually a good conversation.
It's just more than he's given in the ring for some time.
Hey, he had a good match with Shooter. if nobody cared.
Was it a good match? Did you see it?
I wouldn't know, Greg. I was trying to be nice.
You trying to schmooze it.
I like Jack Perry, man. I don't want him to disappear from wrestling. Damn. I put a lot of emotion into that boy. I did see Bianca Belair did an interview with one of those journalists who it wasn't her fault though. Like she didn't really do nothing but laugh. But the journalists, they were talking about her moment with Mercedes or with Sasha Banks. And they asked her about like, did you want her back in WWE? And she's like, like I'm not nobody to tell nobody how to feel about what, if that's what fulfills her, that's what fulfills her. And the news guy is like, she'll go away and she'll come back home in a year, right? Ha 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 ha. It's like, shut the fuck up, you fucking clown bag. Like home where they mistreated her so bad that she felt she had to throw her championship belt on the table and leave. Yes, she'll be back home. Anyway, we didn't talk about that until now. But yeah, the road to WrestleMania thing, I just wanted to bring it up because it is the fucking it's the biggest thing happening in the WWE right now. And it would be weird to just ignore it.
It is extra large, you would say.
It's a very popular thing, man. It's going crazy, actually. It's really successful for the company. It's everything everybody wants to talk about. The whole Dwayne Johnson thing. It's fucking great for WWE. They are also firing on all cylinders. I think this is going to be a great WrestleMania for them. I think it has the potential to be a great event. Maybe even both nights this time. Because last year it was like night one was like a fucking all-timer. Like if it was only one night of WrestleMania, you'd be like, wow, that was one of the greatest WrestleManias I've ever seen. But no, actually, it turns out when that WrestleMania is over, we're only in the mid card.
Yeah,
we're in the middle of the card. So it's a great first half. You see what I'm saying? Like, meanwhile, I'm like, this year it has the potential to just both shows be on the same quality. They've already announced the tag match between Dwayne Johnson and Roman versus Cody and Seth. Although, I mean, I guess they have to accept it on SmackDown, but
Yeah.
Basically announced. We had talked about it before. We said this was probably the direction they were going to go in. It felt fairly obvious, and even though some
Fair.
people were like, no, Seth is going to wrestle twice. I'm like, I don't know. They seem to be setting it up that way. Very.
Like we both had our concerns, but Seth just got like just too deep into the program. Just like, oh god.
Yeah, like they're not pulling back. Like, if they pull back now, it'd be bad for him. It'd be worse than an injury. Like, if he got bitched.
Most of the fan base is just acting like Drew McIntyre is. Don't do this, Seth.
Yeah, Jesus makes a point. Night 2 Mania might actually be the better night since both world title matches are on there. 2 big old heated up singles matches. It's the way to go, man. I love that.
I got to the point where I'm just like, yo, put the belt on Drew.
I'm still like, I was convinced they were going to do triple threat with Drew, Seth, and Sammy, but Sammy's so removed from the Drew McIntyre thing now that I don't know anymore. However, they have Gunther's contenders in a. I don't think it's a gauntlet match, is it? It might be, but there's 6. There's gonna be 6 wrestlers in a match on Raw next week, and the winner will get a shot at Gunther at WrestleMania. And the people in there is a bunch of old Gunther contenders, but the 2 that made me most interested is Sami Zayn and Chad Gable.
Yes.
Chad Gable's story on WWE TV is that this Gunther disrespected his daughter, bro. He made her cry.
Yeah.
By him not winning. So it's like you have to do something with that. Like, you can't let that slide. There's no fucking way that he can get on TV and say this man disrespected my family and then lose and just do nothing.
Chad Gable's got to be a man. He can't let it slide.
Right? What the fuck? But then you also have Sami Zayn.
Are you ignoring what I did there?
No, I just I got a message with a promo.
Sounds like I'm not fucking putting over Hogan. Go fuck yourself.
Well, there's always that. There's always that. But I got a message with the link to a promo that the Elite cut after Dynamite, but I didn't get to see it. But I was talking about because Chad Gable had already set this up on TV. Sami Zayn also established the fact that he needs to win a championship at WrestleMania. Like, this is the thing that they told us as viewers that he needs.
Has he already technically?
Yeah, but he feels like he's been lost because last year at this time he was headed into the biggest match of his life, and this year he's on a losing streak and he's got nothing. That's the story that they told us, right? So if he loses this match, which I think he has to, like, I don't think Chad Gable can lose this match, but I also don't know that Sami Zayn can lose this match based on what they've told us about him. So where do you go? Where do you even go with that? You figure they what would they double pin each other, and these 2 end up
another
contenders.
triple threat match.
But that's my thing. Another triple threat match for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania? Like, we just did this last year. Gunther doesn't get a singles WrestleMania match? Are you fucking kidding me?
I almost expected the triple threat match, if only because like it's the obviously convenient way to get Gunther out of there without pitting him.
There's also that, which our panelist colleague CJ Carter believes that is a bad way for Gunther to drop the belt. I actually don't agree. I believe there's still a lot to be done with Gunther as an unbeatable monster, and I don't want to see him get pinned yet. But I can see the urge to have Chad Gable pin him. Question for both of us.
Go for it.
Do you think they'll add Liv or Nia to the title match at WrestleMania? Because that's nasty. I don't think so at all. 1-on-1. I don't think that they're going to add Liv Morgan to the WrestleMania match, but if they did, I think it would screw Rhea Ripley out of any meaningful win. If she beats Becky Lynch, that would be huge for Rhea Ripley. She beat Charlotte last year at WrestleMania. She beats Becky this year at WrestleMania. She's really establishing herself as the next new guard. She is the women's division now. She has defeated these horsemen. Now she would just need to fucking beat Bailey. You know what I mean? But I don't think adding Liv helps anybody but Liv at this point. She does have the story with Rhea, and it's hot. It's probably more interesting than any story Rhea has with Becky Lynch. But
Becky Lynch has the clout, the cred,
yeah,
and the star power.
yep. And
Not
and
only is
really,
that good as a WrestleMania match, but it's good for Rhea's still ever growing stature.
yep, 100%. I think Liv Morgan should get a singles match against Rhea anyway. That's another thing. I think Liv's story has a lot of meat, and
I think
it
that's
shouldn't.
another pay per view for that. If you
Yeah,
want to wait that long, I think there's a
yeah.
SummerSlam for that, but it ain't this.
Probably Backlash. They're doing it in France. It's like a big deal.
Yes, they are.
I would do it then. I'd do Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley at Backlash because I definitely don't see Rhea losing at WrestleMania, especially not to Bailey.
Okay.
Like, I mean to Becky. Like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Could you imagine? Could you fucking imagine? Anyway.
Could you imagine?
Liv versus Rhea, Great Balls of Fire. That's where you do it at. That's exactly where you do it at.
Now I'm wondering if you're like, could you imagine her losing to Bailey?
They did the Dakota Johnson.
Hey!
She's based. I'll give her that. She's like, I hate this movie I worked on. I hate everything. I hate myself for joining it. I meant Dakota Kai did the turn. She did the thing. She turned on Bailey. It was the right way. It was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because one, Bailey deserves this, like as a character. Like she's been an absolute scumbag for the past I don't know how many years. So it would be really unbelievable if she all of a sudden had friends in the back that were coming out to help her. So she kind of deserves to have to go through the ringer a little bit. But also,
I feel like they already teased Jade helping.
now as a new person who wasn't in the company though when Bailey was running rampant. So at least there's that, right? She can just be like, man, I saw y'all doing some fucked up shit and I'm a superhero. Because that's what she wants to be, right? You know, Jade Cargill wants to be a superhero. And it kind of seems like they're setting her up to be a babyface in the company. And I'm like, that is so miscast, but okay. But okay. She tweeted something like a babyface, and even the tweet fell off. She tweeted like, it was about what Damage Control did to Bailey, and she was like, "Man, I don't think I like what they did. Right? That wasn't right. Right? Like that's not right."
Yeah.
I was like, "Since when do you give a fuck, Jade?"
Yes.
Like
Jade feels strong about right and wrong. You see.
All of a sudden, Jade Cargill feels so strongly about right and wrong. So weird. She's so fucking charismatic. She's got so much oomph to her, and you want to lock her down into this I'm a fucking good guy thing. All right. I'll see how it goes since that's what y'all want to do, subvert shit and play games with people's fucking minds. Fucking Ryan Johnson over here.
Oh, stop it. Don't start that.
WWE's women division is kind of floundering right now. I feel like some fresh faces would be helpful, says Christopher Gonzalez. There is some truth to that. I think WWE's women's division is a little, I don't know, it's kind of plateaued at one point, and now it's on a bit of a decline quality wise. It's not like it's bad. It's not like it's bad. It's not a bad women's division, but there was a point where it was really good, and that point isn't now. So I get that. And I had a friend, Danny. He made a point that maybe the women's division was better off when Stephanie McMahon was around.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, my first reaction was, well, that can't be right. And then I looked, and it just was. It just was in a better shape when she was in charge of it. And and I understand that it wasn't like she had genuine feelings about it. She'd been very public about how philanthropy is business, right? Mm-hmm. She did that with the women's division because she saw the money in it. But it's hard not to argue that made it a better women's division, right? That's all I'm saying. Even if she didn't actually even if she didn't care with all her heart, she cared enough to make money. She cared about the money enough to put the effort into the women's division at the time.
Mhm.
So it ended up having a lot of oomph behind it. They had a pay-per-view, they had a WrestleMania main event, and it hasn't been the same since. But I agree with you, Christopher Gonzalez. One last thing we had to talk about is the beautiful, wonderful Sting retirement at AEW Revolution. Man,
Talk about subverting expectations.
right? I can't begin to describe how this was nothing like I ever expected it to be. What the fuck? Sting is I'm gonna miss him. He's an absolute legend, like a full-on legend. This is a maniac old man that we never should have allowed to drive his own car. But
No.
he's there. No, man. In all seriousness, from the opening video to the entrance with the kids, in the one, the legally safe Wolfpack outfit, and the other, the original, the actual original outfit that Sting wore against Ric Flair.
Yes.
Excellent stuff, man. I mean, we talked about, I talked about it in detail on Sunday, but it was booked to perfection. Even if it's not. It goes against normal, I guess. Not, but it doesn't really go against, like, people expect the dude who's retiring to lose, because there is always that adage that you go out on your back, but you go out on your back when you're leaving the territory, right? Because when you leave in the territory, you're going to a new territory, and you're doing the favor to the people you're leaving behind.
Well, arguably, you're leaving the territory for the last time.
But then, right? So you can argue that he is leaving the territory too, but it was so different in that this was giving back. Like this was meant to be a giving back moment. Like, we're giving back to you now. So I get that. I get that. Apparently, the Young Bucks and Tony Khan were adamant that Sting wins this match. It's just like you have to win. Like, and he's probably fighting them. Like, no, you see, when you lose for the last time, you have to go out on your back. And so they play him the reel of wrestlers that actually don't fucking lose. And it turns out, there are quite a bit of wrestlers that don't lose in their retirement matches. And it's fine. And in this situation, I thought it was exactly the right thing to do. I thought,
how many of them were in America?
Not all of them. Definitely not all.
Okay.
But some of them were. I know some. I know even Terry Funk has won some of his retirement matches. Some of them. That being said, I thought that there was no world where anybody in that building wanted to see the Young Bucks win. So the Young Bucks didn't even want to see the Young Bucks win. Like, it was the right thing to do. It was so cool seeing Sting in there with all three of his children. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was everything. It made me I didn't like cry like a baby, but I did feel it. Like, I felt it. I was like, shit, we're really watching him go. And he goes out and he does glass bumps. He takes fucking 60.
Even with the sweater on.
He takes 60% of the match. Yeah. Darby does the dive, the now viral dive that nobody will let him. All these old people won't get over. And he dies. He's basically gone for the rest of the match. So Sting takes the rest of the match. He does it all on his own. Which, by the way, man, maniac shit. Darby Allin's a crazy person, but I love him for it. Would have been nuclear heat if the Young Bucks won that match.
That never would have been passed.
Christopher. Fans crying over the spot. Yeah, but it wasn't fans. You know what I mean? There's no fans crying over this spot. Fans enjoyed this shit. Fans
Yeah.
thought
Oh,
this was.
I thought he meant crying as in like sympathy for Darby.
Well, I know that I thought like this is fucking crazy, Darby, you maniac motherfucker. You said you would kill yourself, but don't do it for real. That is a clip that needs to be on the Dynamite Open. That needs to be on the Please Don't Try This at Home. That needs to be on the commercials for the games. That needs to be on the commercials for anything. That needs to be one of their defining clips. Okay. Because insanity. And it wasn't even sugar glass. It was tempered glass. What fucking maniac. Crazy. Sting takes the glass bump in the corner, right? And some glass goes out into the crowd a little bit. Most of the people in the crowd were scrambling to pick up shards for their fucking pockets because it's like I get the glass shards from Sting's fucking retirement match. One person got cut. I think a couple people got cut. I know Papa Buck posted a picture of like he had a cut on his face. And I was like, oh shit. But some lady said she got cut and she wanted to tell AEW like she wanted to try to get money and they were like they just shut her shit down.
They just pointed to the sign.
They said, hey, if you read this shit right here, it says if you sit in front, get the fuck out the way. He's just shit. Son of a bitch. No lawsuit for you. I know it depends. I know everything is different for everyone, but I almost wish I would have been the lady. Like I wish I would have gotten cut at Sting's retirement match. You see the scar? That's the scar for Sting's fucking retirement match. It's incredible. And then he crashed through the table, and I got this fucking cut on my face for the rest of my life. It's incredible. Oh they said my daughter broke my shower door, which is what Darby used, and the spot was no joke. He's lucky to have gotten away with minor scratches. That comes from Christopher. Yeah, tempered glass, like he said, it's the glass you see in your shower. So that's why I don't know if you remember. There was a spot where the Bucks jump out the way and Sting knocks the glass with the bat, and it's supposed to like shatter, but it just conk like clong. I said, "Oh shit, is that what we're doing tonight?"
It is.
Fuck, it is.
That's how we're getting down here.
Yeah. Peddler of a second account says, what's our thoughts on the Okada heel turn? Well, we gave most of our thoughts earlier in the night. It was mostly that plays into his strengths. It's a great move because it also gives him mouthpieces, and he's pretty much been a heel for a while in New Japan anyway, attacking all these fucking young kids for the sake of them just being younger than him and him not liking it. You fucking children, I'll kill you all. Why? Because you're children. Okay, Anakin. So that's gonna be us this week. I think we pretty much talked about everything we have to talk about.
I think so.
The week of pro wrestling. I want to thank all of our new viewers. There's a lot of y'all today who were with us in the middle of the night. So thank you for joining the boys. Thank you for Nick, who he wanted to plug something, but I don't know what he was gonna plug, so I can't plug it for him. But I can plug is Major Issues. Make sure to check out the latest episode of Major Issues, which will release later on today, Thursday, March 7th, starring our boy Greg.
Yo.
I'm gonna give you the solo screen. Tell him what you talked about this week on the Major Issues podcast.
Today we spoke about the what was it? Year was it? I want to say it was 1999. Release of the film Mystery Man, based on a very obscure comic that I had never heard of, and so loosely based that you'd be forgiven for saying it was wrong. Released in 1999, starring a cadre of big time comedic actors: Ben Stiller, Hank Azaria, William H. Macy, and Jeffrey Rush.
That sounds incredible, and I've never heard of it. Actually,
Never?
You know what? Maybe I have, because you say Mystery Men, and then you say 90s, and now I can imagine like a white, like a VHS cover and a bunch of goofy looking fucking comedian people
Do
on
you
it.
remember
But
All Star?
no, I don't think so.
Hey, now you're an All
Oh yeah,
Star.
well the song. Oh yeah, I thought
Yeah,
this was a movie.
in which
Yeah,
the
yeah.
music video was just clips from the movie.
I didn't know that. You know where I first heard that song? The
Where?
Inspector Gadget movie.
Really?
I swear. I
That is
swear.
that's
It's
funny.
it's okay. So Inspector. Okay, well let me make sure that it came out before Shrek. Uh, Inspector Gadget. But I'm pretty sure it did. I'm pretty sure it
I'm
did. There's an Inspector Gadget movie with Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick. Yep, I've seen
Yeah,
the first one.
it's the only one that matters.
Yeah,
What year is this? 1999. So this is pre-Shrek, right? Shrek is 2003.
I believe so.
Yeah. So okay, yeah, definitely the Inspector Gadget movie is the first place where I heard this song. Oh, thanks for keeping me entertained during my overnight shift. Christopher, thank you for joining us overnight, man.
Hey, I worked the overnight too, brother. I feel it.
That's the only way we can get him on this long in the middle of the night.
Yep.
It's because he already works the night shift. But yes, thank you all for joining us. Please sure to check out the Major Issues podcast, a podcast where they cover comic book related media and comic books. Be sure to check out the Comic Book Click social media accounts. Be sure to check out the Delphin Pop podcasts, where they also cover pop culture related content, but they focus on cinema.
Cinema.
No. They focus on films and fucking comic book stuff as well. So check Google Delphin Pod. Check out the Delphin Pod shows. Come over to the Dershi Radio social medias every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for our post-show rewinds. Literally, after every single wrestling show of the week, we have a immediate post-show rewind stream. You don't have to fucking end when the wrestling show's over and you don't have any friends to talk about it with and you want to just kind of watch the boys. Come on over to the Dershi Radio social medias, man. We're always here every single day.
Always here. It's almost annoying.
We are. We absolutely are. You can catch me, John Escudero. I am on the Wednesday Night Dynamite post show reviews. I'm on the flagship Dershi Radio. I'm on the flagship Dershi Radio podcast, which is this one right here that we do in the middle of the night with our middle of the night date friends.
Yeah.
And I'm on every single pay-per-view recap event, and I'm also the director for most of the streams. So I do tend to pop in and out and to leave little funny jokes just to kind of break up the monotony sometimes. So check out every single Dershi Radio post-show stream. Join us, be a part of the community, and thank you for joining us. And we'll see you guys next week. Boom.